Hello and welcome to my ninth tutorial on Visual C++ 2010 Express Edition, and in this tutorial I will show you how to create loops. This will be quite average tutorial as I will need to explain a couple of things, but still don't worry, everything will be explained, so just watch and learn. Now I have my project created, my main is here as well, and I start with the code. First of all, I will show you how to create a for loop. And the for loop starts with the for keyword, like with the if. You start with the if. So for, and now we have three things we need to create inside this bracket. And first thing we need to create is a variable, which will work as a counter. So it can be int s is equal to 0, and then you add the semicolon for it to separate two different parts. We have three different parts, so two semicolons will be needed. And so the int s is the new variable for loop, and it's equal to 0. So the counter is equal to 0. S is like a counter. You can call it counter for you to be easier for you to remember how this works. It will be easier for you to understand. So int counter is a counter is equal 0, and now I have a condition counter doesn't matter actually, counter, and the condition you can choose, for example, more than, less than, depends on the value you put here. You can put more than, less than, or you can compare it to something, stuff like this. So it's less than, for example, 5, so the loop will go on until the counter is equal or more than 5, and then we increment the counter, sorry. So we increment the counter by 1. Each time the loops go on around, the counter will be incremented. So I will just say counter plus plus and close the brackets. Now open and close curly brackets, and inside we have our action. Of course, you can do it different way. You can do it like this. It still works. I just prefer to do it like this. It's much more elegant. So we have the for loop, which have the counter variable, which is 0 right now, and counter, the condition, this is the condition, and counter must be less than 5 for the action here to be executed, and also counter will be increased by 1 each time the loop goes around. I will have some kind of output statement because this is the basic part, and close it. Let me run this now, and you will see the output 5 ones. So I will have 5 ones. So each time the loop goes around, it will print out 1, and if the condition is false, it will just leave the loop and move on with the rest of the code, or just finish the code. Depends on the program. Okay, so that's the for loop created. Now I will show you a while loop. And with the while loop, you need to create your variable outside of the loop, not inside like with the for loop, but outside. And I will show you how this works actually. So I will have variable int, let's say number. You can call it counter as well and assign some kind of value, because I will not create input statements. It doesn't matter right now. You can of course get input statements and then check the value and so on. You can just do whatever you like with this variable. As you know from previous tutorials, you can manipulate it. And now I will create a while loop. So while, and again I open the bracket, but this time I don't need to declare the variable and assign something to it. I don't need to also add the statement inside that says number plus plus, or number is equal number plus something. And I can just do the condition. I just do the condition, which for example is number is less than 5. So the same condition. So number is less than 5, and I open the curly brackets and close it, and I have action. Now you need to remember two things. Now we have only condition in this bracket, but for the loop to work properly, we also need to have a counter. I mean, it's not a counter like you need to create another variable with the which we will say counter. No, you can just use this variable and add value to it so that the loop will not go forever. It won't be infinite loop. So let me have some kind of output first, like a normal statement you would have output 1, let's say. So I will have output, and I will actually show you this. If I don't add the counter, which is if I don't increment this value, the loop will go on forever. As you can see, I have loads of ones, and my computer will break if I keep it like this. No, I'm joking. Okay, so you need to always add the counter. So I would just say number is equal to number plus 1 or any other value, or you can just say if you want to increment it by 1 plus plus and the statement, and this time when I run this, number will be incremented by 1 each time the loop goes around, and you will have only 5 outputs of 1. So very simple. It's very simple to understand. And you can also have different conditions. You can have a compare condition and sorts of things, like you have, for example, with the if statement. I'm not sure if you can add the or something like this. You can find out on your own actually. And another loop I will show you is do while. And let me first of all write the loop and then I explain it. Okay, so do is empty. You just don't do anything. You just add this and this. So this is the do loop. I'll prefer to do it like this. Okay, so you have do, which is empty. You have your actions here, and while at the end. So and with some kind of condition. Again, it's the same you can do as with the normal while loop. You put any kind of condition. I will put the same condition, and at the end of the condition, you always need to put a semicolon. It works as the output statement or any other statement like this one. So you need to put this this semicolon, so for it to get no errors. Okay, so I have my do while loop. I have some actions in here. Let's say I will have cout action and 1 again. So I have my cout, normal normal outputs and normal condition. But what's the difference between this loop and while loop and normal while loop? Well, the difference is it doesn't matter if your condition is true or not, and the statement, the action in here will be executed at least once, which means it doesn't matter if this is true. The number can be equal 10. Now, let's say it's equal 10 and the condition is false. But when I run this, you will actually see the output, which is 1. And that is because do while do the action first and then ask and then check the condition. If the condition is true, it will loop again, do the action, and so on. So if you, for example, need to use the code which you wrote, which is in the loop, for example, and you need to use it at least once in your program, so you want, for example, the output to be shown at least once, or some kind of calculation to be done at least once, you will use this loop, because it doesn't matter of the condition, the action will be still printed at least once. If I change it to 0, then you will see the output. Oops, I haven't outputted sorry, the counter. You see, you need to remember about the counter. That's what happens. So you have 5 outputs as well, and that's everything about the loops probably. You can have, as I said, many different uses with them. You can of course nest them. You can also nest them with different statements, not just loops. You can nest them with the if statements. So you can have do and if statement, do something if something, if some kind of condition is true, and else, so on. You can have case statements as well in here. You can also have if statement with with loops inside, which is, as I said, very flexible and useful in the programming. And that's pretty much it about this tutorial. I will I will try to make new tutorials more faster because I have more work to do on university and so on. Doesn't matter. I will post more tutorials soon. Don't worry about that. And visit my webpage and YouTube channel for more tutorials. And I will see you next time. Bye.